Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome if you're new here. My name is Shan from HomeWithShan over on Instagram. I'm a motherhood, baby, lifestyle or vlogger and blogger, I guess. So stick around if you like that kind of content. But today's video is a long-awaited baby products I regret buying. I did do a newborn essentials video and I also did a 3 to 4 month baby must-haves video and I also did a 6 month plus baby must-haves video, but I've never ever spoken about the products that I regret, like really regret buying and using, to be honest. So that is exactly what this video is going to be. This is a video that's going to be in hindsight. I mean, I definitely used these products when George was a newborn and probably a little bit afterwards as well, but only because I had them and I kind of had to. In hindsight, now having an 8-month-old, I wouldn't buy them again. And I feel like that's a useful kind of comparison to draw, because some of them I would have said, this is a must-have, you need to have this thing, because that's all I knew. And now I've had an 8-month-old and I just think I could have done things a lot differently, and I'm going to share those things with you today. Obviously all of this stuff is just my opinion and every single baby and mum are different. So if you find these things helpful and useful and they're absolutely essential for you and you really don't agree with what I'm saying, totally fine. This is just what has not worked for me and my son George. So let's jump into the first baby item that I regret buying, and I feel like everyone's going to agree with this. Every single person that's had a baby will say, don't buy so many clothes. Definitely my biggest baby regret, or thing that I regret buying, is just the amount of clothes that we had, especially in newborn size. I mean, George was tiny. George was 6 pounds and 6 ounces, so he definitely fit into newborn stuff, obviously, and he was, you know, messy, I guess. You know, he's spitting up a lot and all that kind of stuff, but he didn't need as many clothes as we had. He literally only needed vests and baby grows. George probably only needed 14 baby grows and 14 vests, but he probably had at least triple that. It was absolutely excessive. He definitely didn't need any socks, baby socks and baby shoes. They don't walk, so what is the point? Basically, in terms of clothing, I wish I'd have just gotten, I regret getting anything that wasn't a baby grow or a vest. If it was socks, mittens, gloves, just anything like that, shoes. Also the pop-up baby grows, like the ones with the poppers, I'd way rather have just gotten zips. Now all we have for George is zips and it's so much easier. Especially, George doesn't wake up in the night anymore, but when he was younger he would wake up in the night obviously to get fed and get changed and things like that. So the fact that in the middle of the night I was sat there popping these things together, just know, like, the zip baby grows are so much better and will save you so much time, and that is probably my biggest regret in terms of clothing, having too many and not knowing the right things to buy. But now I know for the second baby I will definitely not be overbuying and I'll definitely be buying zip baby grows. The second baby item that I regret buying is actually our travel system. So we actually purchased our travel system secondhand, so I don't regret it that much because it was such a bargain that actually it was a mistake to buy it. If I had bought it brand new, I would be really, really bitter about it because it just didn't work for us. It was the wrong purchase. I didn't do my research enough. It was too big, it was too clunky, it didn't fit in our boot properly, but because it looked cute and it was secondhand and it was affordable, I went for it. But actually, I really just specifically hated the carry cot. I just don't think they work for us at all. When we went out with George, he would always be in the car seat and we'd put that onto the like chassis of our stroller travel system, and I guess I like that part of it. I would definitely have that element of it. I wouldn't get the same one that we had, which was the Bubba V3 Stomp. I just didn't like it. It just didn't work for us. I think maybe because it was secondhand, it was just like difficult to get the car seat onto the chassis. It was difficult to get the car seat in and out of the car. Again, I don't know whether that's because it's secondhand or because it just wasn't a very well made one. But having the new car seat that we have now, which is the Graco Turn to Me one, you can't take that off and put it onto a car seat, which obviously with a newborn you would need, but it is just so much better built and you really notice the difference that now I realise how awful our other one was. I think if I were to do it again, I would either look into getting the Duna car seat, which is the car seat that you literally just flip out and it's got some wheels attached and it's ready to go, because obviously when they are newborn you do want them to be able to stay in the car seat if you're just getting out of the car quickly or whatever. You don't want to be taking them out of the car seat to then put into a separate stroller and that kind of thing. I don't know though, I feel like it's still one of those things that I just wouldn't know what would be the right thing for us. I would love to know what your ideas are, guys. If you have a good like car seat stroller mix, then that would be great, but I'm really not one for those like carry cots. I just think they're too big and unnecessary, to be honest. I think a car seat and a stroller is just fine. I do really love the strollers that we've got now, the Baby Zen Yo-Yo 2 and the Hawk Saturn R, but I haven't used those with newborns. I used the Baby Zen Yo-Yo 2 with this really small carry cot, and it's really cute and petite, and actually that works really well because it is so tiny, but it still doesn't have the car seat that you can attach to it. So I don't know, it's just one of those things. I feel like I haven't found that perfect all-rounder just yet, and eventually we will, but it'll probably be next time we have a baby. The third baby item that I regret buying is a baby bottle drying rack. So essentially it is like this little tree stalk thing you put all like the baby bits in, and I think I like the idea of it because obviously the bottles that we used, they had loads of parts and stuff and they could all stay together and that could all be clean and it wouldn't mix up with all of our washing up and all that kind of stuff. Great idea in theory, but in practice I do not dry my bottles. I literally wash them and I put them in the sterilizer, and then they're in the cold water sterilizer, they're in the water until I need to use them. So they're never ever dry. And then obviously I use them, they're dirty, I wash them, put them in the sterilizer. It's like a constant thing. Unless you've got like loads and loads of bottles or you're washing them like 3 or 4 times a day, I do not do that, then I don't really see the point in a drying rack. We've had it like just in the cupboard for ages, and I think we used it loads at the beginning because that's where we were so like, right, we have to do this all properly. But as soon as we got into the swing of things and we were just in that loop of every night before we go to bed we'd wash the bottles, put them in the sterilizer, we don't need to dry our bottles, so it was just so pointless. I don't know if that's just me, I don't know if you guys have that problem as well if you're bottle feeding or whatever, but I just never use it and I think it's such a waste of money. The fourth baby item that I regret buying, that I was told to buy by every single person that I spoke to, is water wipes. So when babies are newborns, you're supposed to, like, they recommend that you use warm water and cotton wool to wipe their bottoms and stuff in the early days because you don't want to be putting lots of different things on their like newborn skin. Totally understand that. To negate that, people would then say to use water wipes because they're 99.9% water and they are really good wipes, but they're £2 a pack. £2 a pack is expensive, especially the amount that you go through, especially when they're little, so I just regretted buying them. Every single shop, Tesco, Asda, Aldi, Co-op, like everywhere has their own version of water wipes, like the brand own brand version, and they're all 99% water, they're all exactly the same ingredients, they are just so much cheaper. The ones that we used to get from Aldi, we don't have an Aldi anywhere near us at the moment, but when we did go to Aldi we would get the 99% water ones, and they're biodegradable and they're like 64p or something ridiculous. I think you can get even cheaper ones if they're not biodegradable, but if you can get biodegradable, why not? The fact that they're almost a quarter of the price to the water wipes is such a significant saving that I just don't understand why everyone was so obsessed with water wipes and telling me I had to get these £2 a pack wipes when they have dupes everywhere. They have them in the Co-op, they have them in Asda, in Tesco. I just don't understand. So yeah, I definitely regret purchasing water wipes in the first place. It was such a waste of money and I spent too much on them. The fifth baby item that I regret is probably my baby wrap. Now I used the baby wrap, don't get me wrong, I did like it, I really liked the feel of it, it was a really nice one as well. I did use it, but I didn't use it enough to justify the price of it. I think actually in the long run I much prefer my baby carrier, which is like my Ergo Baby. It's got the buckles on the back, you just feel quite secure with it, baby feels secure. You have actually got options to have a newborn insert in there as well, so if I'd have known that in the first place I would have got that, I think, because the baby wrap, although it's lovely because it's nice and soft on them and things, if you're walking along, it can like start to get too tight or start to loosen up, and it is a bit of a faff to get on because you have to know how to like wrap it. It is quite intimidating, time consuming. The thing is, I did like it. I loved the feel of it when it was on, but it just took forever to get to that point. And when you've just got like a little tiny little baby, you don't want to be like trying to, it was a bit of a faff, I can't lie. So to be honest, for me, looking back, I probably would just get the baby carrier that we've got now. We've got the Ergo Baby 360 Omni baby carrier, the new like summer one. So lush, I absolutely love it, and you can get a newborn insert for it, so you can use it straight from birth, which I just think is perfect. That specific one also ranges up to like 4 years old or something, because you can have the newborn insert, then you can take that out, then you can have them, like George at the moment is facing inwards or facing outwards. You can also go on the back when they're a little bit older, and I just think like that's going to grow with you so much that that's what I would invest in, rather than getting a sling and then getting a like ring sling and like doing this and nah. I'd just get that carrier, I would think. So yeah, I think that definitely is a baby item I regret getting. Baby item number 6 that I really regret buying is a old school thermometer to take his temperature. I mean, I know it's supposed to be the most accurate reading and you're supposed to do it like up the bum to get the perfect reading, but I'm not being funny. I've never ever done that. I'm not doing that because he, one, would hate it. As a newborn, he would have hated it. As an 8-month-old, he would hate it. I'm just not going to do that. Even if it's like to try and get it under the armpit or orally or something, I just think, well, I know, I've tried to do it before, he is never going to sit still long enough for me to do that. So it negates the whole point of it being like the perfect reading. So I genuinely think the best thing that we got was that Tommy Tippy like temperature gun. You know, the ones basically with everything going on at the moment, every time you go into a shop and they take your temperature, it's exactly the same as that. If it's good enough for everyone else, it's good enough for George. And at the end of the day, you know when your baby's got a fever, it's just to like double check that thing, isn't it? You don't need to be putting things up their bum. Like I'm alright for that, to be honest. So yeah, that is something I definitely regret buying. Never ever use it. It's sat in the cupboard now. I would just not bother, to be honest. Number 7 in terms of baby items that I regret buying and you just really do not need is stuffed animals. As a baby especially, stuffed animals or stuffed toys, they do not get used. They just sit there in the corner looking, I mean, they look cute, it's fair to say. But the thing is, I bought about 5 stuffed toys for George, and then he got given loads from friends and family because that's what you buy for babies, isn't it? But at the end of the day, babies don't even use stuffed toys because they're playing with things that are like rubber and like wood, so it's good for their teething. Stuffed toys don't do anything for teething, and they are just sat there like in his room. They do look cute, it's fair to say, but other than that, it is just a complete waste of money. He does have one comforter that he uses, and it's like a baby Mori one. It is really lovely, to be fair, and he just like strokes that when he's going to sleep. But other than that, he doesn't use anything. He's got so many of them as well that I feel like it's such a waste for us to have so many. Like, I think maybe 1 or 2 little soft toys just for like keepsake, lovely, but the rest of it is just clogging up his room. So I definitely regret buying that many stuffed animals. The 8th baby item that I regret buying, and this might surprise you because actually I think I mentioned this in my newborn essentials video, which actually is such a contradictory thing, but I regret getting those little baby hooded towels. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're just so tiny, and I get it, when they're tiny, they seem like they're really big towels and they'll last them forever. They just don't. They just grow out of them so quickly, and the hooded part, like George's head is way too big for those hooded parts now, and it is such a waste of money. We've got like 5 of them, and just really, in retrospect, a smaller towel, like just a normal towel that you would use, but a smaller towel for when they're like newborn would be perfect. And now I just wrap George up in a normal towel, and it's so much nicer because you can actually like wrap them up, get them all nice and dry. You've got like a lot more extra material. I can fit loads of the towel around George, and he's not got any of his skin like out in the air like getting cold after the bath now. But with the small like hooded baby towels, he was always getting cold because none of it would cover him. So it was just such a waste of money. I don't understand why I did that. I think probably what I would have done, instead of getting specific baby towels with like hoods on and stuff, I would have just got like a separate set for him, like a small, maybe what would have been like a hand towel, and then just a normal towel, and then a bath sheet maybe, for George, like in a different colour or something, and then they're his towels, and then like they go up through the ages, and then once he is just like a kid that just needs any towel, then we can just use them as normal towels, if that makes sense, because I just feel like now we've just got a load of tiny towels that we're never going to use. So yeah, I definitely regret buying those little baby hooded towels. I feel like they're such a waste of money. The 9th baby item that I completely regret buying, because we never ever use them, was swaddle blankets. So the swaddle blankets that I'm talking about are basically just like massive muslins, and you're expected to know how to actually like wrap a baby up in that and keep them like wrapped up all night long, and I just could not do that. One, I was rubbish at it. Two, I'm not sure George really liked being that restricted. He did like being swaddled. He used the Love to Dream swaddles where his arms were like this, which I think he really liked, and it was just a really simple zip up. He really loved that, and he slept really well from a really young age, to be fair, and I definitely think those Love to Dream swaddles had something to do with it. But the swaddle blankets, the ones that you have to actually know how to wrap and do that and tuck it all in all the right places, all that palaver, I never really used those other than like the first couple of days before we got the Love to Dream swaddle. But to be honest, the only time I did use them is to roll them up underneath George's bottle when he was maybe about 3 months, 4 months old, and then I'd prop the bottle on top of the rolled up thing, because I just thought, I've got them, so I need to use them for something. But yeah, I think you could just use a blanket or just anything really to do that. You don't need a muslin swaddle, so I did waste a lot of money on those kind of things, I can't lie. Number 10, the 10th item that I really regret buying is blankets, and I spent a lot of money on blankets. But like I said, we swaddled George with the Love to Dream swaddle, and then now he's in sleeping bags, because obviously that then is a lot safer for him, because he's not going to get suffocated or anything like that with, like, say, a blanket. We just never ever use them. I guess the only time we would is with like maybe one blanket then is needed, maybe, if that, for when you're going out and about, if you're in the buggy or in the car seat and it is a colder day, like if you're having a winter baby or something like that. But to be honest, even then, I guess in the car maybe is the only time you'd need it, because if you were in the buggy, you'd probably have like a pram suit on or something like that, or George always had something like that on instead of a blanket, because he would just kick the blanket off, it would fall off or whatever. And like, I just think something that can actually keep them like all wrapped up warm is a lot nicer. Obviously in the car you can't have like anything like that underneath because it's too padded, so a blanket then I guess is the only time we might have used it. But we have too many. Like, our whole bottom drawer in George's room is full up with blankets that we've never ever touched, and muslin swaddles that we've never ever touched. It's just such a waste of a drawer. One blanket, which you're probably going to get gifted at your baby shower or anything like that, I just wouldn't bother buying them. I was so obsessed with like,
oh, our baby doesn't have a blanket yet, what are we going to do? I'm such a terrible mother, he's going to be so cold.
He was never cold, he was absolutely fine, because he had about 10 blankets and he never used any of them. The next one, number 11, is probably going to be a controversial one, and one that I don't think you guys are going to suspect I'm going to say, is a next to me crib. Now hear me out on this, because George wasn't in our bedroom for the first 5 to 6 months, and we couldn't have fit the cot that he's sleeping in now in our bedroom. And if you can do that, I think just do that from the get-go. But if we couldn't fit the cot in the room, then in hindsight what I would have actually done is just had a travel cot, because you're going to need a travel cot anyway eventually, and it's exactly the same size as a next to me crib, and it's so much more affordable. We have a red kite travel cot that is just really far down, but you can get these Graco ones that actually can be raised, so it's exactly the same as a next to me cot. It is exactly the same thing. So we then got a travel cot, and George slept in it for about a month whilst I was staying at my parents' when my partner was away. And it was the best, like, he was absolutely fine. He slept perfectly fine in it. So why didn't I just do that from the beginning? It would have saved so much money. That travel cot that we've got is about £30, and the next to me crib that we got was about 170 or something insane. So what I would have done as a middle ground somewhere, instead of getting a travel cot and a next to me crib, I would have just got a travel cot that can be risen and then dropped when they're older, and then just have that in our room for the first 5 to 6 months, because really that would have saved us so much money. They're really good and versatile because you can take them anywhere. They fold up super neatly. That genuinely would be my biggest advice to tell myself 8 months ago. Obviously I get it, they're not the cutest, they're not the nicest looking, but your house isn't going to be the nicest looking. Like, I'm really past that point now, and I probably in the past when I was pregnant was looking at all the things that were going to be pretty and nice and stuff, and obviously if you can get something that's really functional that looks good, great, but actually there's nothing that beats practicality in my book these days. I've got 3 more left. So the 12th baby item that I really regret buying, and I just do not think anyone needs in their life, are baby nail clippers. The worst job in the world. Baby nail clippers, one, are small nail clippers. There's no specific thing about them being for babies. They are literally just small nail clippers. So if you've got small nail clippers in your house already, just use them. I'm not gonna lie, other than the one time that I attempted to cut George's nails, I never use nail clippers on him ever, or scissors or anything like that. I literally just bite his nails for him. I know that is not the recommended way of doing it, but I know that that's the safest way for me to. He's a bloody wriggly baby. Like, he would just be wriggling around, rolling around. I'd probably be cutting his fingers off for him. Like, it just doesn't seem like the best way to do things. So I've just been biting his nails for him. I know that that's not the best. I'm sure at some point I'll have to use the bloody baby nail clippers, but for now, nah. And also, like I said, I've already got some nail clippers that are my nail clippers, so I can just use them on him. It is just such a waste of money to buy like more nail clippers than you already need. Like, we've got like 3 pairs of nail clippers now. Why do we do that? Why do we need that? We absolutely don't. If you don't want to be as gross as I am and bite your baby's nails, then a baby nail file or any kind of nail file is so much easier, I would say. Like, I have used that a few times. Like I said, George is wriggly and stuff, but I would rather be him wriggling and like get him with a nail file than get him with a bloody blade, essentially, like a nail clipper. So yeah, I think baby nail file over clippers 100%, but I just bite them, can't lie. The last 2 are for bottles, and I really regret buying so many microwavable sterilising bags. Firstly, we've used them maybe 3 or 4 times. Again, I think it's probably we used them because we had them rather than we needed to use them. But 2, we have self-sterilising bottles, and I knew that, but I still bought these extra sterilising bags. I think when you are a new mum and you're choosing to formula feed, especially from the get-go, there's not loads of information out there about how you should do it, or how you should do it properly, because obviously the advice is to breastfeed for the first year if you can. If you choose not to do that, I find it quite difficult to find the information out there as to how you should bottle feed or formula feed the best way. I basically couldn't find much, or if I could find things, it scared the hell out of me because it's all like about bacteria and sterilising and blah. So I basically ordered about 10 different methods of sterilising bottles, and we literally have only ever used the one method, which is a cold water steriliser, Milton sterilising tablet in the cold water steriliser. Wham bam, thank you ma'am, works a treat. Wouldn't recommend any other method. My next baby item that I regret buying is also a sterilizer. So we actually also bought an electric sterilizer, which, like a steam sterilizer. Complete waste of money. I mean, it is fine, but we always found that it was getting limescale in it, and we had to descale it, and we had to do this. Plus it's an eyesore on the counter. It's taking up a plug socket, and we'd always have to like lift it up to clean underneath it and everything like that. It's next to the toaster, so it would get loads of crumbs and stuff near it, and it just seemed like so much of a faff. And then we just realised that the cold water sterilizer that we've got, we just put a tablet in it, put water in it, put the bottles in it, and then it's done in 15 minutes. It's just as quick and easy as the electric sterilizer, but it doesn't waste electric. It seemed way better with the cold water sterilizer than using like all the electric sterilizer and the microwavable sterilizer and this and this. Nah, to be honest, we've only ever used the cold water sterilizer, and even when we go away, we tend to use that as well. I'll link our one down below. It's just the Tommy Tippy one. Super straightforward and easy. I think it's less than £10. If you are planning to bottle feed, I just don't think there's any other reason you should get any other one. But obviously it's up to you, whatever works for you. I just know that every single other method did not work for us. So they're my top 14, I think they were, baby items I regret buying, and baby items I just don't think I should have purchased and I didn't want to waste my money on the second time round. But obviously everyone is going to be different. What I did want to do is actually talk about your guys' top 10 baby regrets, because I put something out on Instagram and I asked what your baby regrets were, and I got so many responses and they're all fairly similar to mine. I mean, there's a couple of different ones, but I basically chose the top 10 ones that you guys said time and time and time again. So I'm gonna go through your top 10 and then maybe comment if I've used them or used something similar or anything like that. So the first one, the one that came up the most amount of times, is a sleepy head. We didn't buy the sleepy head, we didn't use the sleepy head or anything like that, but we did use a baby nest that was very similar from a brand called Cali Baby or Cali Sleep, and we used it. We used it an awful lot, but I would say we didn't use it at night time. We didn't use it when George was napping, or we'd use it if he was like on the sofa snoozing or whatever. When he was obviously really tiny, couldn't sit up and stuff. Would I buy it again? Maybe not. I mean, maybe I'm saying that because he obviously wouldn't use it now that he's a lot older and can sit up and crawl and all that kind of stuff. I do think those kind of items are so overpriced for what they are. Obviously Sleepyhead is like a really deluxe like version of it for whatever reason. I think they're probably exactly the same thing, to be honest, but they're really expensive for what they are. I definitely would never purchase that, ever. I did actually get sent the Cali Baby, but it is half the price, like a fraction of the price. It's £60-ish, I think. And George did use it a lot. I can't lie, he did use it a lot. But I definitely don't think it helped him sleep, because he didn't use it for sleep. It is literally just somewhere for him to lay that wasn't the sofa. So yeah, I mean, I definitely don't regret having the baby nest. But if I had had a sleepy head and spent all of that money on it, because it is a lot more expensive, I definitely think I would probably regret that. For the amount of time they use it, is it worth it? I'm not sure. The second thing that you guys said that you regret buying, which is very similar to mine, is a baby sling or that kind of like wrap situation. And everyone said that a baby carrier was way more preferable because it's way more comfortable on you, it's ergonomic for your back and everything, you never get a backache, it's easy to put on, baby's just as comfortable, and I think I have to agree, to be honest. So yeah, I think you guys have hit the nail on the head there, can't lie. The third thing was interesting actually. The third thing that you guys said that you really just regretted buying for your baby was a nappy bin. So that really surprised me, because we've got a nappy bin and I love our nappy bin. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't love the nappy bin. It's all right, it's a bin to put nappies in and it sort of reduces the odour. It's not some magical fix, it's still got poo in it, like, let's not lie. But I think of all of the different versions that I saw, I really liked our one, because you don't have to keep buying new inserts for it, new filters, new this, new that. You just put normal bin bags in, and it does mask the smell like a fair amount. If there's a nappy with a poop in it, I would always wrap it in a nappy bag already and then pop it in the bin, in the nappy bin. But I can imagine if you guys got maybe one of the other ones that do need filters and there's all these twisty gadgety bits on it, and then you have to keep buying the inserts for those and the refills for those, I can imagine I would regret that, because it's just an added cost, added like monthly cost, I guess. The fourth thing that you guys regret buying for your babies is a nursing chair. Oh my goodness, they are expensive, aren't they? Like, I really wanted one, to be honest. I really wanted a nursing chair, but we ended up going for a futon in George's nursery, just because then we can pull it out, and then because we've only got a 2-bed house, if people do come to stay eventually, then we can stay in there with George on the futon, like a pull-out bed basically, and then they can have our bed. So that's the reason that we went for that. But it's the same kind of idea as a nursing chair, I guess. I do sit there and I do like feed George after the bath and stuff, but yeah, I'm glad that ours is multifunctional. If we'd just got a chair, it would just be a waste, because 9 times out of 10 I feed him downstairs, can't lie. In the earlier days maybe I'd feed him upstairs a little bit more, but yeah, I don't know, I feel like we probably wouldn't use a nursing chair either. So yeah, although they're really cute and they do look really lovely and comfortable, maybe it's not worth buying. Number 5 on your guys' list of the top baby items that you regret buying was a Moses basket. I never understood Moses baskets. Am I silly? Like, I know what they are and I know they're kind of like for downstairs or whatever, but I guess maybe we used the baby nest in the place of a Moses basket, because we would take the baby nest wherever we were. So if we were in the kitchen, we would have him on the table on the baby nest, and I guess maybe that's how you would use a Moses basket. I don't really know, but I do remember watching some of these videos before, and people would say that their baby actually like slept in the Moses basket next to them, and I just thought, well, surely if there's a Moses basket and then you go into a next to me crib and then they're going into a cot, and then like I said with the whole next to me crib situation, I wish that we'd just got a travel cot, because he uses that now when we go away, and he could have just used that from newborn as well if we had the risen one. But yeah, I never really understood Moses baskets either. I am actually glad that I didn't get one now, because you guys clearly regret buying them for yourselves. Number 6 on your guys' top baby regrets list is a nursing pillow. So I didn't really have a nursing pillow. Obviously I didn't breastfeed, so I didn't have a nursing pillow, but I did have a pregnancy pillow that I think it then turned into like a nursing pillow. And when he was really tiny, and when I was obviously like quite sore in the early days, I would like either sit on it or have it round me and like whatever. But again, that was just because I had it. Like I wouldn't buy it for that specific reason. A normal cushion like this would have been just as fine. And I think a lot of people end up saying that you don't need an extra thing, because your house is just going to be so packed full of things. If you buy like every single individual item that does like one specific thing instead of like multi-purpose items, your house is going to be so jammed packed full of crap that you're never going to be able to like move or like have a tidy house or anything like that. So yeah, I kind of understand that one, to be fair. Number 7 on your guys' list that I've grouped together is newborn outfits and newborn mittens. Very similar to my first one, which was exactly the same. Newborn outfits, like too many clothes, too many shoes, too many socks, all those kind of things. But mittens is a really good one, because like most baby clothes these days have integrated mitts on them, so you don't really need them. Just don't get anything that's like an individual thing that's like that small. You do not like need that stress in your life, trust me. Number 6 on your guys' regret list, and I'm so glad to see this, is a mamaroo. So you know the 4Mums mamaroo bouncer thing that looks so good. It looks so good. It's like a rocker bouncer thing that like basically sends them to sleep. Constantly can have them moving, and oh, I mean, looks amazing. And I really wanted one, but my partner talked me out of it because of the price of it, and I'm so glad that it's on your regrets list, because the fact that you guys thought that it wasn't as good as it maybe was hyped up to be, then it kind of gave me a little bit of like relaxation, because George was fine in his bouncer, but it didn't do anything, it didn't move, it was just a bouncer to sit in. So yeah, like obviously if he needed soothing, it would be us like doing the rocking and things, which to be honest I quite liked. Like especially when they're tiny, all you want to do is comfort them when they're crying, if they're sad or anything like that. So I guess with the mamaroo or the 4Mums mamaroo, yeah, I mean, it sounds like such a good idea, and I'm sure that it works for some people. I know people that have absolutely sworn by it. Some of my best friends had it and said it was the best thing they ever had. But it clearly doesn't work for everyone. So if you are on a budget, it just goes to show you don't need it. Some people might actually actively dislike it, so it just depends on your baby, I guess, doesn't it? Number 9 on your guys' baby regrets list was a changing table. Now I heard this loads when I was pregnant. Everyone said don't bother getting a changing table, get a like normal chest of drawers and then just put changing mat on top and make sure it's all secure and all that kind of stuff. And I have to say, since George has been rolling around and just like crazy when I'm trying to change his nappy, I always just change him on the floor anyway. His changing mat lives like on top of his drawers, and then I'll take it down, pop it on the floor, change his nappy. He'll roll off about 10 times like naked, and then and then when we're done I'll just put the changing mat back up onto the top of his drawers. So I can imagine a changing table, if you spend loads of money on a changing table that's really lovely and really nice, and then your baby starts to roll off it every 5 seconds like mine does, you'd probably regret buying it. We just use a chest of drawers that we already had, just the IKEA Malm chest of drawers, nothing special. Number 10 on your guys' top regrets list. This came up a lot and I'm surprised actually, because I've never really like considered getting it. And it was a grow egg, and I think it's a night light that tells the temperature in your room or the baby's room, and I guess then you know like what to put them in, like what like whether to put them in a vest and a baby grow, or just a baby grow, or just a vest, and whatever, depending on the temperature, or what tog of sleeping bag or something like that. Pretty sure that's all it does. But I do think they're quite expensive, so maybe that's why you guys regret buying them, I don't know. But yeah, I'm not really sure. When it comes to like layering and like what to put your baby in and all that kind of stuff, in the early days you're really like focused on,
oh, it's 23 degrees, he should be in this and this, and he should be in this tog and this.
I think you get to a point, and then maybe this is just me, or maybe I'm too relaxed, I don't know, but I think you get to a point where you know your baby more than like this graph knows your baby, so you just kind of go with what you think your baby needs, and 9 times out of 10 you will be right. But anyway, I really enjoyed that. I really loved telling you guys what my baby regrets were. Maybe some interested you, maybe some were like, oh yeah, you were gonna say that, kind of knew that, or maybe some surprised you. I'd love to know which ones. But I really liked your guys' regrets as well, because it's really interesting to see like from a wider perspective, every single person's situation, baby, like you, everyone is different. So what you're gonna like and what I'm gonna like are gonna be so different. I love, love, love doing these videos. If this is a video that you're watching and you're pregnant and you know, you're just thinking, I don't want to waste my money on loads of stuff, I do have a few money saving tip videos for if you're about to become a mum. I also have a baby essentials video, but do bear in mind, when I did the newborn essentials, George was 8 weeks old. He's now 8 months old, so I've definitely learned a lot as a person, as a mum. So maybe that is an outdated video, maybe I need to do a new one, I don't know, let me know what you think. But that is everything for today's video, and the next video is going to be my top 10 holy grail baby items I think everyone should have, no matter what. And I know that's a bold statement, but anyway, I think I'm gonna leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. Hit subscribe if you want to see the next video. I'm really excited for that one, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.
'Cause you glue all the pieces back together. Yeah, you take all my wrongs and make them better. Yeah, you're making me wanna try forever. I feel so free, oh my sweet baby.